All right, good morning, everybody. I would like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Marla Billinghurst, and I will be chairing the meeting this morning. With me on the panel are Ms. Faye Branson and Mr. Robert Hutchings.
Morning.
The assessor this morning is Mr. Arif Das Mohammed, and our recording secretary is Stephen Lunn. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. Excuse me. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave, and the process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decision. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing number 11 on our docket today. Mr. Lunn, please affirm the assessors and the applicant's testimony.
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Arif Das Mohammed.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Henry DuPont.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll be proceeding with number 11. Mr. Das Mohammed, please proceed when you are ready.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Board of Revision file number 22-1290. Roll number 040070321000. Address is 50 Furniture Park. Roll year is 2023. Reference date is April 1st, 2021. Assessed value is $10,974,000. Parcel use code is industrial light manufacturing. Number of buildings is 6. Number of premises is 1. Number of stories ranges from 1 to 2. Actual year built is ranges between 1962 and 1990. Effective year is 1984. Wall heights range from 18 feet to 36 feet. Zoning is M2 manufacturing general. Land area is 554,825 square feet. Plan area is 189,827 square feet. Gross floor area is 193,562 square feet. Leasable area is 189,827 square feet. Land to plan area is 2.92 to 1. If you turn to my appendix, page 1, you can just let me know when you're there.
Sorry, it's taking a minute. Okay, just you can proceed.
So on appendix page 1, we have the map of the subject. It's located in the northeastern quadrant of the city. On appendix 2 is the subject parcel boundaries. On page appendix 3 is the overhead view of the entire complex. So on the top and bottom there. On page 4 is close-ups of the buildings. And page 5, same thing, close-up of the other side of the buildings. Appendix 6, there's the subject street view. Now it's gated, so that's as far as we can get with the Google Street Map view. On page 7 is the site plan. And then on page appendix 8 is the income and expense submission for 2020. You'll note that the property owner there is Palliser Furniture. And at the bottom there in the tenant row, it's them who is leasing the property to themselves. And they are leasing the property at a monthly net lease of $6.17 per square feet. Going back to my page 3 of the brief, there are my rent comparables that I've utilized. So all comparables are in industrial properties. All leases are current in relation to the reference date. Year built ranges from 1966 to 1979. Average wall heights range from 14 feet to 31 feet. Leasable areas range from approximately 101,000 square feet to 5,300 square feet. Net rents range from $4.98 per square foot to $6.15 per square foot. On the following page is my workup. So we're utilizing an overall net rental rate of $4.70 per square foot, utilizing a 3% vacancy loss, allowing for a 3% non-recoverable expense and $3.85 for vacancy shortfall. This results in an NOI of $817,533. We're utilizing a cap rate of 7.45% to take into account the age, condition, and market region of the subject. This results in a rounded capitalized value and assessed value of $10,970,000. If you turn again to my appendix, page 11, page 12 of the appendix. So I have the market report from Colliers for Q4 2020. And then the paragraph highlighted at the top there, you'll note that they state that the Winnipeg industrial sector closed 2020 with strong fundamentals. I'm just summarizing the paragraph here. The fourth quarter closed with low vacancy rates. And right at the bottom there, it's closed with strong asking rental rates with a stable 2% annual growth rate. The two paragraphs at the bottom there are highlighted. Again, it reiterates that there's a high demand, there's limited supply, and this has caused an upward pressure on rental rates. The last paragraph, they're expecting the market to remain strong in 2021. And then on page appendix 17, this is the Q1 2021 industrial market report by Colliers. Again, the top paragraph there, the momentum continues in 2021, Q1, despite the effects of the pandemic. And then the last paragraph there, the underlying fundamentals of the industrial market continues to remain strong. There's low vacancy, stable growth rental rates, and strong demand. And then on the following page, appendix 18, I have the cap rate report from Colliers. Again, they're indicating demand is strong. And transaction volume for industrial properties has returned to pre-pandemic levels. And this is Q1 while we're still in the pandemic. And then on page Appendix 21, I have the CBRE research report from Q1 2020. They also indicate that Winnipeg continues to see strong demand in the industrial sector. So on page 5 of my brief, I've just at the bottom, I've summarized the just the assessment history and the board orders. I'm not sure if you take that into account, but I just put that there. And then on top, there is the income value summary, which I've already gone through. So in conclusion, given the strong state of the industrial market over the last number of years and the strong forecast for the foreseeable future, I believe that the assessed value of $10,970,000 to be fair and equitable. And I respectfully ask the board to confirm this value. And I'll be open to questions now.
Thank you very much. Mr. DuPont, do you have any questions for the assessor?
Yeah, back to your appendix, page 12, Collier's report, the outlook. It says, first paragraph, strong asking rates with a stable 2% annual growth.
Mhm.
Now, your rent for 2023 increased by 13.5% over the 2020 rent. So would you agree that your rents increase is in conflict with the Collier's statement?
No, I don't. This is a Q4 2020 report, and you're looking at rates from 2018, I believe.
So it says 2% and you annual growth. So you don't agree that your increase is much higher than what the market?
For Q4 2020, the growth rate is 2%. Yeah, so we'll see it go down.
Now your vacancy rate, no, would you agree that your vacancy that you're using is for vacancy as a whole for Winnipeg, including owner occupied, and it's not close to the investment vacancy?
No, we can't do a vacancy on owner occupied. So we use market vacancy.
I realize that, but your vacancy loss that you allow 3%, that's from a market vacancy?
Yes.
And would you agree that the market vacancy for overall Winnipeg, including owner occupied, is 3%, more for investment? It's more like 6 to 9%.
I'm not sure. No, not 6%. No, the industrial market report for Colliers is saying that vacancy rates are much lower.
Did you not?
Actually, if you turn to page 13 of my appendix, you'll note that they state that vacancy rates range from 3.2 the lowest to 4.3 the highest.
And that would include total occupied space, so including owner occupied.
Well, they would be looking at market, not owner occupied.
It says top the total inventory, total occupied space, total vacant space. They don't say anywhere that it's the investment category only, investment inventory or investment occupied space. They're talking about the total space in Winnipeg, including owner occupied.
I'm not sure what, but if you look at their graph there, you'll also see that vacancy has never, they're indicating vacancy hasn't gone over 5% there.
And there again, that would be including owner occupied space, total industrial.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're including, but I would imagine that they can't do a vacancy on owner occupied, so they'd be looking at market.
I don't think you can say that because they do not say anywhere it's an investment inventory. This is a total. They can do a vacancy of all Winnipeg. It's done. Johnson Reports does both, the owner occupied, all space including. owner
Mr.
occupied,
Dupont,
and
it-
adjustment.
I think we understand that. I think the assessor has answered the question that he doesn't know, and that as far as he knows, it was the market. So you'll have your chance to give evidence, which you were just doing with referencing the Johnson report. So perhaps if you have any more questions, please continue.
So would you agree that when you compare rents, that the land to building ratio is a major factor? Or one of the factors to take into considerations?
Yes,
And ceiling height, so properties with higher ceiling heights than the subject would be superior,
yes,
and same as age.
yes, but if you look at the land to plan area, it's 2.92 to 1. 4 would be considered, anything after 4 would be considered excess. This is manufacturing general 2. So zone manufacturing general 2. So what that indicates that I'll just give you the zoning definition here. M2 manufacturing general, the district is intended to provide light manufacturing, process, service, storage, wholesale, and distribution operations with some limited outside operation storage. So I think 2.92 is sufficient, if not more than enough. At 4, you'd be looking at anything at 4 and over, you'd be looking at excess land.
Yes, the 2.92 is less than your maximum, and it may be less than some of your comparables. Would you agree that some of your comparables may have a higher land building ratio?
I'm sorry, I don't have that info in front of me.
That's all questions I have.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hutchings, do you have any questions for the assessor?
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Branson, any questions?
No question, thank you.
Thank you. And I have no questions. So, sorry, Mr. Dupont, please proceed with your presentation.
Do I do presentation now or the rebuttal?
You would do your presentation now.
Okay. So if you could go to my report. So the first page, it shows the square footage, etc. And the assessment 10,000,004. We're asking for an assessment of 8,000,074. We have the photo again. Since it's a private road in front of Palliser, you can't go too close to take the photos. So that's the closest street photo we can take. Then we can skip to page 7 with the description of the property. So it shows the year built for some of the properties, 1962, 25,000, etc. And there's a couple areas that were added, 89 and 93. This property has also very minimal office space. The city BA had 2470 square feet with air conditioning. That indicates 3.9% office. Land to building ratio 2.92. And then we have the aerial map following that. And the aerial photo. Now we can, the next up to that is the analysis, and it shows that the assessor is a business burden proof. And it should be site specific. So we can skip ahead to page 13. So we have the rent comparables, and we have for this, we have 10 rent comparables. So we show the first one, 138,000 square feet. So all of our comparables there are over 100,000. So that one, first one is $5 a square foot. The one in Pandora, $3 a square foot. Sherwin, $340. That's a 2020 lease. That's 175,000 square feet. Furniture Park, which is 170 Furniture Park, which was also a hearing on the same docket. That was rented to Hunter Wire for the full building. Then the tenant went bankrupt in 2015 or 2016. So that rate was $415 per square foot. And we had settled 170 Furniture Park at $415 per square foot in past assessments. Next one's Kernahan, $395 per square foot. They had the rent step there showing 2015 for when the rent step kicked in. We did send to the assessor the list of all the addresses. Here we don't show them, but we did. I did send the list of addresses to the assessor.
Okay.
So Inkster has one at 542. Mission 450. Pandora, there's two. 345, 375, and 1 and 5 at 507. The average is 417. Medium is 405. There were other remarks. We mentioned the 170 Furniture Park. That one had 3.9% office as per BA, or subject has 3.9%. And the 170 Furniture Park at 6.6. So based on the above, provided market rent at $4. Part of our list also shows the ceiling heights for these properties. And so the next part is the vacancy and collection loss. So we start from the first table from Johnson report, the industrial vacancy composition. They show the total inventory. They have 78 million square feet. And then they have the vacancy by district based on total inventory. The overall bottom right is 3%. And it's for including owner occupied. And this has been it's relatively stable over 10 years. It was 2.1, it went up gradually to 3, and previously was 3.4 and 2.73%. And the investment inventory so the vacancy rate can be studied for investment. These for those properties that are not owner occupied. It can be either single or multi-tenant building. Then we show the next table. So December single tenant investment vacancy by district. East Kelowna 3.1, Elmwood 0. That's a single tenant. It does not include multi-tenant. So subject would be either East Kelowna or Elmwood. The multi-tenant vacancy, starting in the next page. East Kelowna 9.8, Elmwood 5.7. So based on the above, we consider a vacancy rate of 10% as should be applied to subject. We don't dispute the assessor shortfall rate, 385. We use non-recoverables. We continue to use that. 7% to 5% non-recoverable, and a standard allowance of 2% for structural allowance. The assessor is now at 3% for that, and the NR 0 for non-recoverable expense. We have a separate report of non-recoverable. The cap rate. Then we are disputing assessor's cap rate 7.45 or 7.5. So we're not going to go through the cap rate study because we're basically agreeing. We had a disagreement because we had all three bouncer properties, and then one had a low cap rate in the 6%, 6.75, something like that. And that's the reason we disputed this cap rate, but in essence, it doesn't make much difference. So our income valuation summary follows. I'll have to rotate the view. Should we apply $4 per square foot? On top, we show the year built, etc. So the effective age in 1984. And the wall height is mainly 18 feet. There's a smaller section at 36 feet. So it shows the vacancy. We have the cap rates from Colliers, but that's basically not in dispute. We use the assessor shortfall. We have the non-recoverable expense, 5%, the other 2%. So we have net operating income 605, but 7.5% cap rate comes to 8,074. And then at the bottom we have the historical. So it shows in 2023 the assessor, the 470, vacancy 2%, cap rate 7.45. So we dispute the rent non-recoverable vacancy. 2020, the city had 414 rent, which is the same as the 170 Park, Pershing Park rental rate. They had a cap rate 7%, and the board used the same rent, and they confirmed, and that was appealed in this board. Is still standing. 2018, the city had applied 415 with 7.5 cap rate. We are confirmed, and we appealed to this board. Also said the same rent. We had cap rate in 7.75%. Now we have a separate report, non-recoverable expense. We went through that with the other properties. So if you don't mind, we'll go quickly through that. So we're saying that the history, first page, the assessor removed the 5% expense allowance that was historically shown previously. It's not management. It's not standard management. And what it is the non-recoverable expense. And the next page shows how we arrived at, etc. Page, the next page 3. So we quote from the previous general reassessment. So they were saying it covers other expenses, etc. Then we quote the bottom page 3 from the Sauer School of Business, real estate. The appraiser should also account for non-recoverable expense. The most important non-recoverable is this our space marketing costs of advertising, etc. And also includes tenant inducement, leasing costs, and allows for structural and mechanical repairs. So the other costs associated with leasing fees and commissions. So that is not recoverable from the tenants. And that's always a cost the landlord has to absorb. So then page 5 with the some of the costs. We repeat leasing costs. We show the same guide also says that we should allow for non-recoverable expense. Page 7, the list. Some of those legal or audit fees, another thing that they can't recover from the tenant. So that's a cost the landlord has to have. And we, as mentioned before, advertising, leasing commission. Yeah, they list some of the other pages, etc. Now we probably should skip to the fact that we have comparables. So page 11, we have properties. We do the non-recoverable costs as a percentage of EGI, excluding the first, well, the second last column includes expenses with no TIs, and then we have the 3-year average including TIs. So over a long term, they will face those particular charges. So all these properties, we list them costs, and we have 30 properties. The average is 6.64, medium is 5.98 without the TIs, and with the TIs, average 10.6, 8.6 medium. We do not include mortgage interest amortization. The shortfall itself, bad debts. And sort of page 13, we say that it's tied to the cap rate, because the cap rates that we obtain, we use the 5% non-recoverable expenses. So if we did not use the non-recoverable expenses, our cap rate would be higher. So then the next page says if we do not use the non-recoverable expense, the cap rate would be instead of being 7.38, be 7.79, an increase of 41 basis points, or almost 0.5% in cap rate. That speaks in my report in non-recoverable expense.
Thank you.
And I just had to rebuttal, but I guess I get the cross-examination first.
We'll get to that, yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Mr. Assessor, do you have any questions for Mr.
Yes, I do. Okay, Mr. Dupont, on your, I guess it would be your page 27. They're not numbered. It's the tenant roll that you've included.
Oh, yeah. So you're talking about the internal lease to themselves?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, so it's indicating that this is a single tenant property?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
If you look at their leasable area, it's approximately 10,000 square feet more than what we are indicating. Is that correct?
That could be, yes.
Yeah, we're indicating 189,827 square feet of leasable area. And they're indicating 198,435 square feet. Is that correct?
Yes,
So they're paying a monthly rent of $101,036,049, which works out to $6.17 per square foot. Is that correct?
yes, I didn't do the calculation, but I would believe so, yeah.
Okay, going back to your page 19. You're indicating a market rent of $4 per square foot.
Yes,
Why would that be less than what they're charging themselves?
Board of Revision, the municipal board, assessors do not deem market any internal lease. Quite often, the internal lease is a lot lower, and if it were lower, you would not be bringing that up. It's just not considered. So this should not even be discussed or argued. It's internal lease, and it's not arm's length, therefore should not be considered.
And you're indicating an area of 189,827 square feet. Why didn't you use the 198,400 square foot that they're utilizing?
There again, it's an internal lease, and we use the assessor's rentable area.
So where did you get this $4 rent from? Comparables?
From the comparables.
Okay. I also have rebuttal for the comparables.
We'll get to it.
Okay. Now, you indicate a vacancy of 7%, and we indicated that this was a single tenant property. On your page 16, the Johnson report, this property is located in Elmwood, is it not? Elmwood, East Kildonan? I guess Elmwood would be the closer.
Elmwood would be too small to consider accurate. And I would think we should take into consideration East Kelowna, which would be a better, or take both combined.
Okay, whether you take Elmwood or East Kildonan, on page 16, the vacancy rate for single tenant investment is 3.1 or 0. East Kildonan is 3.1% and Elmwood is 0. I guess in Elmwood, there's a lot of owner occupied property, so they weren't able to extrapolate a vacancy rate, I'm imagining.
Yes, so that the it's better to do the total inventory for investment rather than just single tenant. Just if you just go single tenant, it could be quite skewed. If one large property would go vacant, it could skew the whole vacancy. So the inventory is too low to be reliable. So it's better to take inventory for multi and single tenants put together.
Okay, then if you turn to your page 15, another table from the Johnson report, the East Kildonan vacancy for total inventory is 0.7% and Elmwood is 1.3%. It's still a lot lower than the 7% that you're utilizing.
There again, because it includes owner occupied.
Okay, going back to your page 19.
So if you go to page 14, it gives inventory. So it has manufacturing, investment, warehouse, service. So the investment shown there. So the inventory for Elmwood is only 1.4 million square feet. East Kelowna 4.2. Total Winnipeg 78 million. So the investment was 486,000. So if you had one property that would go vacant, it's a single tenant, it could skew those statistics. If they're fully occupied, it skews those statistics.
Going back to your page 19. You have your non-recoverables at 5% and other at 2%. Now, prior to 2020, the non-recovered, the 5% was actually called management fee, was it not?
Yeah,
Excuse
the
me.
assessor called it management fee.
And I believe Altus was in agreement when your workups also showed management at that time, prior to 2020.
Yes, we call it management fee, but the which we showed you the 2006 manual from the assessment department, it said there was more than just management fee. That was just a name. It was for all other non-recoverable costs.
And
So
prior to 2020, the 2% was called non-recoverables, was it not?
I'd have to check an old report.
Also, you had brought up wall heights. If you look at my appendix, page 3, the overhead views of the building, actually, maybe you have them also. No, you don't have the.
Okay, so it's on your material.
Yeah, my appendix, page
Well, there.
3, the overhead view, right at the bottom. And my appendix, page 4, there's a close-up of the brown building there. So you can see the warehouse is taller. And the brown building, there's an extension that is similar height there. And then there's one small section right at the very end there, right side of the picture. It's just a small building. Would that be the 18-foot wall height?
I'm not exactly sure where it is. Yeah.
Would you say the warehouse is the tallest structure there? Which is not the brown section, but I guess the beige section there.
That's hard to say. So
Okay, that's fine.
the-
So the bottom of page appendix 3 there, the overhead view of the whole complex there. There's lots of room for semi-trucks, semi-trailers there and parking. There's lots of trailers by the parking side also. Would you agree with that?
yeah, they have room for parking and for trailers, but the land ratio is still 2.92. So when you compare to a property with bigger land building ratio, you have to take that into consideration. That means the comparable property will have more than what the subject has.
Okay, those are all my questions.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hutchings, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Branson. You're on mute.
Yes, sorry, I just realized that and I was struggling to unmute. Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Dupont, and maybe you covered this and I might have missed it. At times I found it was a bit, your voice was a bit soft, but you indicate a vacancy allowance of 7%, but is the building completely occupied by the owner?
Yes,
Okay, is there a reason you chose a vacancy rate of 7%?
you have to go with a market vacancy when it's owner occupied, because when it's owner occupied, it's 0%. So we must get a market vacancy.
Okay,
So we never consider the actual vacancy for an owner occupied. So it's a matter of finding out the market vacancy.
I see.
If we were put on the market, it would become an investment. That's how the Johnson reports calculates that. As soon as a property that was owner occupied is put on the market for lease or for sale, you put it into the investment category.
Understood. Thank you. That's my only question.
Thank you. I have no questions at this time. So, Mr. Dupont, you can proceed with your rebuttal evidence at this point. Mr. Dupont?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I'm sorry.
sorry. I didn't know.
I don't have it either. Is it possible to get it sent to me?
Just sent you the email, Mr. Assessor. So it should appear in a second for you.
Got it.
Okay, everybody's got it.
Yes.
So the first one is the photos. First of the 861 McLeod, 101,000 square feet and 498. So it's smaller. The subject is almost twice as big. So based on size or market rent for subject should be less. And we show the aerial map of that property. And then comparable number 2, that's 1155. Same as Altus number 10. The wall height is 31 feet. So it's superior wall height to subject. And a superior location in the exterior industrial park. So the exterior industrial park is an established park, whereas the subject is a very small little enclave that they have there. So the 5 superior location, superior wall height. We have the photos, and then we have the aerial photos. Then we show a map of the exterior industrial park, so showing that its location to superior. Then the next one is City Cop number 351 Vermac. The rent is $615. The land building ratio is 5:1, so much larger. It's built also 1990, newer. The office percentage is 16.8. And the subject, I believe, is 3.9. So it's superior age, superior office percentage, superior land building ratio. And also it was a sale leaseback. So the owner sold to somebody else in exchange for negotiating the lease. So usually those sales are not used as comparable because the sale price is influenced by the rent and vice versa. And so then we have another photo, the Monarch Industries. We show the aerial photo. You can see they have a lot of land surrounding it. And then we have the city aerial map showing they do have excess land on 2 sides, so that is part of the valuation. So the superior because of that. And then we have the business assessment. which shows air conditioning is 26,000 on 160,000. It shows their high building, high office.
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing.
Oh, maybe my thing's up. Okay, is that a bit better if I just move my?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, so that shows the AC area 16.8%. It shows the map where it is, just south of the Mint. Comp number 4, it's the next that we have the 10 Hutchings rent 572. Superior location, ceiling height is 25%. So we showed the aerial map also.
Okay,
And maps, and then Google map.
yeah,
And we have number 5, one more. Comp number 5 is 1,000 King Edward, session rent 595. A superior location on King Edward's high traffic street, a superior area. St. James is deemed to be superior because it has mixed with retail, so it has a lot of retail influence. Ceiling height is superior, 28 feet. As part of the former Safeway, then Sobeys, and now MLCC, they have 66,000 of freezer cooler. New lease in 2019, likely had TIs. MLCC space appears mostly 28 feet height. Small amount in the back, 21 feet. The listing shows freezer coolers, so we have photos. The remodel the front that you can see. We showed aerial photos. The Google map. Then we have the listing, Capital Commercial. That shows the land area, 17 acres. The total building is 422, available for lease 145. So there was previously single tenant, and they subdivided it, so they're renting only part of it. This other highlights excellent location on King Edward. Because it has a freezer space in there, 74 loading doors. Those are asking. And if you go back to the Google map, you will see what it's surrounded by. So near Victoria Inn, Hotel Hampton Inn, Days Inn. So that this is part of the St. James is a Costco also nearby.
no, we can see the map, we got it.
Yeah. So the St. James to me is never a good comparable for properties in the industrial parks or totally industrial. And so that would be my rebuttal total. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Assessor, do you have questions for the applicant?
Yes, I do. So looking at your page 2, 861 McLeod. From the picture there, you could see that the building has a lot less land to plan area. Would you not agree with that?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's a high. It's doesn't appear to be high.
Okay, and
so we're not using it as a factor.
So looking at my appendix 3, I counted 13 trailers parked by loading docks. I don't think there's 13. I see a couple of loading docks there. Is that correct?
It's not clear how much loading docks they have.
Okay, so just comparing to the subject property, you would think that the subject property is much superior than this comp, and it should maybe command even a higher rent than, should it not?
No, that's, this is half the size. Subject would be lower due to size.
Actually, you have an overhead view of it on this following page, page 3. The top is the building from a cloud there. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
I have narrow view, yeah, and so.
And would you agree that finding large leasable areas in the city are hard to come by?
Yeah,
Oh,
so.
yeah, so
but this is way less than a multi-tenant, so I got 10 comparables.
and you would agree if they're hard to come by, you would have to go outside the area of where the subject is, would you not?
Yeah, likely, yeah.
Yeah, those are all my questions. I do have rebuttal also.
We'll get to that. Don't worry. I didn't forget.
All right, okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hutchings, do you have any questions for Mr. Dupont on his rebuttal evidence?
I do, maybe it's not the appropriate time, but I just wanted clarification maybe from both parties. What is the wall height of the majority of the area of the subject property? Can either party answer that?
36 feet is my, if looking at the subject photos, most of the building is warehouse, so warehouse would have the highest. And if you look at the overhead pictures on my appendix 4 of the close-up shots of the brown building, which I'm assuming is office, they're similar in size to the warehouse. So
okay, so so the majority of the wall height, pardon me, the majority of the area is a wall height of 36 feet in the subject property. Mr.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
Okay, what your?
This building number 1 on my page 7.
I'm asking majority.
Only 25,000 square feet is 36 ceiling height. The rest is lower. So it's an inappropriate predecessor saying that the whole building is 36 feet.
Okay, but majority wall height is what I'm asking for. If it's 36, are we talking smaller areas of 28 or like?
Why I have to search my computer. I guess I did not put that in there. So I searched the I did search the building details.
Because both parties keep on referring, or Mr. Dupont refers to the wall heights being superior or inferior, but I never had a clear picture of what the majority of the wall height is for the subject property.
I think I saw Mr. Dupont in his appendix has a listing of all the buildings, and there it has wall heights.
So that would be back in his original brief?
Yes, it would be after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it be appropriate, Madam Chair, for us to go back in there and get an answer to the question?
Yes, it's in the appendix.
Yes, it's material to the matter because everyone keeps referencing it.
Yes, so the second page of the appendix. So it shows, so the building number 1 that shows if you're in building details, that's from the assessment department, 36 feet for 25,000, 232 square feet. The next building is 25 feet, but building 325, building 424, building 5, 18, it's a small amount. And
Building 6 would be the biggest.
152,000 at 27 feet height.
Okay, so it would be fair to say that the majority of the building is between 25 and 36 on the subject property?
Not the 25 to 27. The 36 is for a small portion. So There's
Okay.
a few smaller, less than that, but majority would be 25 to 27. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. That's my only question.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Branson, do you have any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, nor do I. Okay, I know the assessor has rebuttal evidence as well. However, I'm going to ask that we just take a short 5-minute recess. I need to get some more water before I start coughing. So everybody, let's just take 5 minutes and then we will be back and the assessor can present his rebuttal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we are live.
Thank you very much. Mr. Assessor, please proceed with your rebuttal.
Okay, so I checked out the comparables that the applicant provided, and I just made a little summary of the leases. So on page 1 of my rebuttal is the comparables that were provided in the brief. So there's 10 comparables there. So on the following page is 1450 Mountain Avenue, which is industrial park, I believe, Inkster Industrial Park, I believe. I could be mistaken.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the lease that was indicated in the brief is a leasable area of 138,962 square feet for $5 per square foot. Now, if you look at the rent roll from December 2020, you will not find that area in that tenant roll that was provided by the management company. The highest leasable area in there is 141,178 square feet, and it rents at, if you work it out, it rents at $5.70 per square foot. And actually, if you just add up all of the leasable areas and divide it by the amount of rent collected by all of them, it works out to $6.84. So the total area would be 263,399.5 square feet, which works out to $6.84 per square foot. So I'm not sure where that rent per comparable one came from. The next page has the 770 Pandora Avenue East, and that shows up in the comparables 3 times. Comparable number 2, comparable number 8, and comparable number 9. You'll note that none of those areas are listed in the tenant roll. And all of the leases on that tenant roll are gross except for one, and that one is Delta 9, and it's only 67,204 square feet. So I don't think any of the comparables from Pandora should be considered. On the following page is 170 Furniture Park. This is a Palliser furniture property. So it's non-arm's length. And the applicant stated that there is a leasable area of 137,390 square feet. And as you can see, there's no lease of that size on that tenant roll. And again, this is from the submission from December 31st, 2020. On the following page is 630 Kernahan. Again, the applicant stated a leasable area of 108,842 square feet. There is none in this tenant roll, and as a matter of fact, all the leases are semi-gross, so they should not be considered. 1750 Inkster on the following page. So there is a lease of 134,664 square feet. However, it's at $5.50, not the $5.42 that was reported in the brief. The following page, 680 Mission. Yes, there is a lease of 122,675 square feet at $4.50 per square foot. And then the last page, 1155 Street. There is a leasable area of 187,000 square feet of $5.07 per square foot. So there's 3 leases that are applicable to those comparables, and that would be that would be 1750 Inkster Boulevard. However, it's at 550 and per square foot, 680 Mission at 450 per square foot, and 1155 Street at 507 per square foot. And if you add all that up, it works out to about $5.04 per square foot, which is less, or sorry, that which is more than what we are utilizing for our overall net rental rate. And just before the break, I noticed that I missed 1093 Sherwin Road. So I'll just speak to it. I went and pulled it out on my computer. This property is managed by Artis REIT. Yes, there is a property there for 175,000 square feet total. However, it's a gross lease, so they don't collect management, but they do collect taxes and operating expenses, but not management. So again, this is a semi-gross lease, and I don't think it should be considered. And those are all my, and that's my rebuttal. So I'm open to questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dupont. Do you have questions for the assessor on his rebuttal evidence?
Yeah, it's not terribly fair that he gives out at the last minute. But all those 10 comparables that I have, I checked each one of those myself specifically. We have files on a lot of those properties. I checked and I updated the records. If he has a rent roll as a particular year, maybe if you took the rent roll from the prior year, maybe you would find those leases. Would you agree with that? That you
no, the rent rolls, the rent roll I provided are for the 2020 year, which is just prior to the reference date. So I'm using rent rolls which are closer to the reference date.
Okay, so when I say at least started Pandora 2013, lease end March 2025. Maybe they moved out after that, but at the time it was a lease.
Pandora doesn't have any of those large leases that you're talking about.
I checked all those leases myself, and so
Okay,
I don't think your
this is
the
what
rebuttal is thorough enough. And would you agree that the assessor will also use some of those leases are semi-gross or gross and calculate a net rent?
No, we don't use any semi-gross. Only anything that's semi-gross or gross is not utilized in the model. And just to reply to your statement there, these are the rent rolls provided by the owners or the management company.
Yeah, I realize that, but you don't necessarily look at the year before, the year after to see where those leases are. You said on some of them they don't exist, so I don't think you're looking in the right place.
Any further questions, Mr. Dupont?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Hutchings, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Branson?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, nor do I. All right, is there a need for summary from either party?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr. Dupont?
Yes, I do. Now, my brief 50th Furniture Park, the last 2 pages at the end, I forgot to go through over them, but you can go through them. You'll see that I have some precedents from the Board of Revision
Yes,
on a
because
few
we're just doing
properties.
a summary. We're not providing new evidence at this time.
No, it's in my report already.
Okay,
And I did not discuss it with the board, but it's in my report,
Yes.
so it's not new
Yes.
evidence.
okay.
So I'm just saying you should refer to that because it's in evidence already. And I can talk about it in summary. So that the board decisions on those were 44 to 52 per square foot, etc. On some of those, and we have the year built. And the subject average year built is 1979. So that we have to take into considerations. We have some different parts built in the 60s and some parts, I believe, newer than that. But the average age is 1979. And you take that to consideration. So the assessment and the subject is 57 per square foot is a lot higher than those precedents of the board revision that we have. So that's assessed much higher. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we have heard all the items scheduled at this hearing, and it is now adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you.